Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. What's going on today? Well, we got a jobs number just out a few moments ago. Do you guys care about such things? Some people do. Some people don't. I care a little bit, which is a little bit more than some other people on this show. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see. We got some. I don't know. You want to talk about GameStop? Maybe. Yeah, probably. Sure. We'll talk about GameStop a little bit. Scott Brown is the guest today. He'll be on at 9. We'll have Louis Sykes talk about crypto. We have to because it's Crypto Friday. So have Louis Sykes, Scott Brown. That's the plan for the day. Good morning, chat. Hope you all are excited for the day. A lot to get to, a lot to talk about. So let's get the show on the road here, shall we? Yeah.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Hello.
How we doing?
Fantastic.
You see this Brett this morning, dude? You see this thing? You see this Brett?
What?
This is Pepe's best friend. You haven't seen this thing, man? This thing's up 30% this morning.
I don't even know what you're talking
This
about.
thing's now $1.7 billion in market capitalization. Wow, look at this thing. This thing's up 23% this morning. Wow. These things are moving, man. No?
Okay.
I didn't see the Brett. No, I didn't see the Brett.
Dude, I mean, it's like a sympathy play on Pepe. But I mean, the catch up, the Brett Pepe ratio is off the charts, dude.
Like BRETT?
Yeah, BRETT. Yeah. Brett with 2 T's. It's Pepe's best friend. 1.7 billion in market cap. Up 23% this morning, dude. The largest cat coin is also up like 30% this morning too. Mew. So dogs and the cats.
I think Phil's got it. Brett had a good earnings this morning. That's what it is.
Oh, got it. Yeah, raining cats and dogs. No big deal.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what was it?
He's a joke. There's no earnings, bro. It's a meme token. But it's almost a $2 billion meme token. So, I mean, let's be serious. Also, you like my gear?
Yeah, look at you, all Avaloned out.
Am I all Avaloned out? No big deal. Little Crypto Friday action. My wife buys me too much shit. That's the problem. So she says she buys me all this stuff and then I don't wear it. So I was like, okay, if it's going to be like that, here I am rocking all my Avalon gear.
You going to the beach today?
Yeah. Every day. How do you think I'm getting this tan? See?
Is the house directly on the beach? Like the sand is right there?
Nah, we're like a block and a half. Short blocks.
But you go to the beach like every day?
My daughter, my kids, all 3 of them love the beach, dude. Yeah. They love it. Sandcastles, the whole thing.
So when you're not building sandcastles, are you like plugging in, listening to podcasts or audiobooks?
Nope.
Just hanging out.
Yep. Mostly chasing kids around.
Yeah.
Because they never want to stay in one place, you see. They're always going in different directions. They just want to be wherever they currently are. They just don't want to be there.
Right? They want to be where they're not.
Direction to go.
Yeah.
So there's a bird over there. There's some kids with toys over there. So they want to go play with the kids' toys. You know. It's what it is, Strazza. You'll see one day. You too, Spencer. You'll see one day. Take your time.
All right. Let's do a high level state of the markets, and then we'll talk about some interesting things.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dow futures are doing absolutely nothing this morning. Nothing at all. S&P futures doing nothing at all also. NASDAQ futures, not much action this morning. Everything's flat across the board. Dow just under 39,000. S&P futures 5360, flat across the board. Nasdaq just above 19,000. Russell 2000 futures down just a wee bit, right around 2050. Crude oil up again, back above 76, up 50 basis points. Gold down 2%, 2350. Silver down 3% after a big day yesterday, still above that 30 level. Volatility relatively flat. Interest rates down just a little bit. Volatility still under 13. And over in the old funny money, we've got Bitcoin pretty much flat today, 70,750. Ethereum 3780, down almost 1%. Solana down about 0.5%, 170. Binance back under 700. There's your breakout, Strazza. So no, Binance has not broken out. And total crypto market cap 2.54 trillion. Bitcoin dominance still around 55%. Happy Crypto Friday. JC, big letter hat guy, no big deal, no big deal. Coldwater Holdings. My wife buys me too much shit, so and then she gets frustrated when I don't wear it. So I put them all on at the same time. Make her happy. Happy wife, happy life, Spencer. Don't everybody says that. It's like a cliche and everything like that, but
cliche because it's true. Jobs number coming in hot this morning, very hot. Non-farm payrolls for May, 272,000 versus 182,000 estimate. Unemployment did tick up 4.4%, 4.0% versus a 3.9% estimate and a 3.9% reading last month. So hot number, and that's the story of the day.
Now tell me what as a keen observer of jobs and reports and so forth, what should this mean to investors who might not be familiar with why jobs matter to the stock market?
Well, the hotter the number, right? A hotter, I guess, is a synonym for.
And can you explain what a hot
better
number is, as opposed? What's the difference between a hot number and a cold number?
Well, hotter is better, right? And colder is
better for
worse.
who?
So
is hotter mean higher or lower?
Yeah, higher, right?
Hot means economy good. Cold means economy bad.
Got it. So economy is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the economy is good. What's wrong with that?
Yes, it means the economy, the jobs market is good, which usually means the economy is good, which usually means that the Fed won't have to take some accommodative interest rate measures. And
I think I'm more confused than ever. So what does this mean? So the economy is good and people have jobs?
Yes.
So here's what it all boils down to,
Sounds
right?
good to me.
The Fed operates based on something called a dual mandate. It's their job to maintain stable employment and price stability. The two big measures then are jobs, right? Because they have to pay attention to that for their stable employment mandate, and then inflation for price stability. So the Fed is reading into these reports, which is why the market makes such a big deal about these reports.
Interest rates are ripping. So things are good. Interest rates are going up
because of the hot jobs. Hot jobs.
Stock market's at all-time highs.
Bang bang.
So just a quick little move here. Dow futures are down 40 basis points, about 160 points. No big deal. S&P futures down 0.5% now. Nasdaq futures down 0.5%. Bonds getting the crap kicked out of them. Oil up. Copper, gold, silver all down 2%, 3%, 4%. Volatility up a little bit, pushing that 13 again. So how do we feel about that?
Bonds have been crashing, no?
No, bonds have been rallying.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant. Yields have been crashing.
Bro.
I'm sorry? No, that's what I meant. Yields have been crashing.
Nothing. Crashing is a hard word.
Crashing about the bond market, both of you.
What?
No.
You're always using the word crashing about the bond market. Nothing's crashing.
The bond market
crashing too strong a word. Sorry, too strong a word.
Yeah.
Yields are at their lowest level since early April.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bonds, a 1.5% move in bonds is a lot. Let's see if they can stick that.
Fonz, do we have the trend line charts of dollar rates, the overlay? Let's throw that up.
Yeah, throw that up.
I want to know, how important is this to you, JC? What do you think? I mean, we talk about this a lot, but it's important. So it's probably been a week. I think we last talked about this whole dynamic with Ari last week, right?
Talk to me.
Fonz is getting the chart. The point I'm going to make, though, is that the dollar and rates have shown some bit of weakness, right, since last month, rolling over a bit here, both of them, breaking trend. I don't think you want to make too big of a deal about a little trend line break like this, but it is multi-month lows for both of them, right?
Not this morning.
Yeah. Well, this is maybe a day or two old.
Yeah. We'll see how they close. I mean, listen, the trend for yields remains higher. Trend for dollar remains higher. The corrective action we've seen over the last recent weeks, probably pretty well deserved considering it's been going straight up all year, right? Both of them. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that do you think that the trend for rates and the dollar remains up?
I think it honestly remains sideways for both.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I guess it depends on the time frame, right? Yeah. If you zoom out, it's probably still pretty sideways. And the stock market is like that, by the way.
Right. So I see flattish 200 days on both of these charts and big ranges, right? And it's not until we take out the upper or lower bounds that I'm going to care too much in either direction. The sideways stuff, the range bound stuff since last year, yeah, it's been good. It's been fine, right? Stocks have had a good time. So if these do roll over, take out the lower bounds of their ranges, oh yeah, I think go time for risk assets. And we're at least heading in that direction, right? With this trend line break, we're at least heading in a direction that would indicate maybe a big tailwind for risk assets into the end of the year. No, not excited. JC doesn't like it. And what's more important to you, rates or dollar?
Well, they're moving together. So it's not like one is more important than the other. They're really moving together.
What if they stop together?
Which interesting action this morning. Granted, market doesn't even open for another 45 minutes, so I don't want to overthink things. But clearly we're seeing rising dollars and we're seeing rising rates, and the stock market not liking that. If you're not noticing here, what's going on?
They hate it.
Why do you think they hate it? Because the market is thinking that interest rates are going lower for some reason, and they're surprised that they're continuing to go higher, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, all things equal, lower rates are better for risk assets.
All things equal, lower rates are better for risk assets. According to what?
Math, frankly, right? Because their cash flows are discounted.
That's usually how it works.
Usually how it works is that lower rates are good for stocks.
That's right.
Because when I study all these bull markets, rates are usually going up.
I don't think that's true.
No? I would go back and study that.
I think we've seen it both ways.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So is it that simple? I don't think so. Like in theory, yeah, I guess. Like Dr. Horton is making a good point. Easier to borrow money, I guess. But if the government is trying to make it easier for people to borrow money, are things so great?
Listen, lower interest rates speak to not just higher liquidity environments, right? So that will typically come with a premium on risk assets, but also the way that these assets are valued, you're discounting the future cash flows. And when you discount them at lower interest rates, they're worth more today. And that just means higher stock prices.
I don't know what any of that means, but the interest rates have been going up all year and the stock market's been making new all-time highs.
Right.
Which is the exact opposite of what you're saying. So what you're talking about is in theory, and what we would have to live in a world of reality. And in reality, higher rates has clearly been good for stocks.
I think the market really bottomed 2 years ago on the idea that rates had peaked and rolled over. That's when this bull market began. When the market made the decision that we've seen the peak for interest rates for this cycle.
So 2
Now we're
years
talking
ago,
about
you're saying
right
2 years
this.
ago, this was in the summer of 22.
Mhm.
You're saying that interest rates peaked, but interest rates have been going up over the last 2 years.
I think the market was pricing in that was enough, right? When we were around 4.3%.
So the
Yeah,
U.S. 10-year yield exactly 2 years ago was at 3.3, and here we are at 4.4. So you're telling me the stock market is going up, has been going up because the market was anticipating lower rates, but rates have been going higher. So that doesn't make any sense to me.
the market's a discounting mechanism. It's gonna front run it, right? Stock prices are gonna start rising
Right,
ahead
but
of.
how much is it discounting? You're telling me that 2 years ago is pricing in lower rates,
Right.
but it's been going up for
No,
2
no,
years.
no,
So how far
JC,
into the future is this discounting?
So you would look
your
at that
comment
price.
about it not making sense. That's the point. That's the point right there.
No, I'm being told that the market is pricing in lower rates, but the market's been going up dramatically. One of the most historic bull markets of all time over the last 2 years.
Remember, we came into this year, right, with the expectation of like 5 or 6 rate cuts this year.
Who's we?
The market. I'm talking about the market's expectations for interest rates this year, right? So stock prices are going to trade based on the expectations for interest rates in the future.
And then, so what are we
JC,
pricing in? What are we pricing in now?
A lot
JC,
less.
You're
The
right.
market's yeah.
Right about what?
Your
Yeah.
conclusion is, I mean, you're both kind of right here, but JC's right in what you said, how it doesn't make sense, right? That's the point. That's therein lies the central tension of the last couple of years, or year, maybe, I don't know, a year or so, right? Is
So when things
someone is wrong.
Yeah. Or I don't know. When things don't make sense, right, or jive on an intermarket standpoint, don't we usually just look at it and say, "Oh wow, if risk assets are doing well, even with rates, steadily grinding higher, what will they do if and when rates roll over?" Isn't that the way to
Right.
think about it?
I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of correlations changed a couple of years ago, to be perfectly honest. A lot of our intermarket relationships that we've seen just are just different. I mean, and you're telling me that lower rates are good for stocks. I'm looking after COVID. The stock market had the best 12-month period in history, going back to the
Well, it didn't
1920s.
matter. They were
Hold
so
on,
low.
hold on. The stock market had the greatest 12-month period in history going back to the 1920s. Interest rates were going up in that environment.
Yeah.
After the Trump election, we had after the Trump election, we had a monster rally in stocks, and interest rates were going up.
Mm-hmm.
And then interest rates started going down. I guess interest rates started going down in 2019. So now you look at 2019, rates were falling and stocks did great. And then in 2020, interest rates were falling. And in early 2020, interest rates were falling and stocks did terrible. And then interest rates were going up and stocks did great. So I don't think there's a hard and fast rule.
Well, that's why I said all things equal, right? Because each one of those periods we can go back and say interest rates were doing this because of this, right? Interest rates were getting slashed because of the pandemic. Okay, right? I'm saying all things equal, we're in an okay, steady economy. The market would prefer lower interest rates, right? They don't want lower interest rates because we're slashing interest rates because we're entering some sort of nasty recession. I'm saying everything's fine. The market would prefer lower interest rates. Any investing professional would agree. I don't know why you're giving me such a hard time.
I'm not giving you a hard time. First of all, if you're talking about investment professionals, most investment professionals don't know anything.
Most professionals use credit, my friend, right? So they prefer lower rates, period, for that reason. They prefer a higher liquidity environment versus a lower liquidity environment.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just not seeing that. I'm just not seeing it at all.
What does this have to do?
I think
what does this have to do with crypto?
Yeah, I mean, look at 2009. Huge rally in stocks in 2009. Interest rates are going up the whole time. That 2010 correction. That 2010 correction that stocks got slaughtered. Interest rates were going down that whole time.
You're making my point. We see this both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in 2011, the stock market got crushed and interest rates were going down. I mean, I don't see it. So cheers, guys. Here's to not overthinking intermarket analysis. Something that I was very good at earlier in my career is overthinking that intermarket analysis.
I'm not even talking about intermarket analysis. I'm just talking about finance. Like you skipped out on class at the Dolan School of Business back in the day, apparently.
20-year reunion tomorrow. Woo, woo, woo. I'm getting like text messages from people I haven't heard of in like years. All right, go for it. Hit it.
All right.
Cool.
I'm bringing Louis on. Let's do this.
Avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
Lou Dog.
I love you guys. You always just argue like an old married couple. It's the most entertaining part of my Friday night.
I love how this is your Friday night.
It's actually Saturday morning now. It's 12:50 in the morning here, so I'm ready to talk about crypto.
Like you couldn't be. I don't think you could be further.
I thought you were traveling. Aren't you traveling? Or are you at home?
No, that's next the week after next.
Got it.
Yeah.
Louis getting around. You see this?
Oh, I see it. Louis, Strazza's thinking that this is it for crypto, and Bitcoin's going to break out, and Solana's going to break out, and Binance is going to break out. You know, is that what's happening? You think this Binance is this it? Is Binance the leader here?
Did the jobs just blow the breakout? Did the jobs just blow it? Did you see this?
You think that these cryptocurrency people give a damn about your jobs?
I mean,
tell them, Louis. Tell them they don't care. They don't care, Strazza. Tell them.
Little dipper the last 25 minutes here.
You know, one thing that I'm really paying attention to right now is the Bitcoin miners. You know, they've really just shot up higher over these last few days. I've been tracking this ratio here, which tracks the Valkyrie Bitcoin miners ETF relative to Bitcoin itself. Okay. So when this line is going up, it means that Bitcoin mining stocks are outperforming Bitcoin. When this line is going down, it means that Bitcoin is outperforming the mining stocks. And so I've been watching this ratio.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're finally scooped higher. And this is taking place where, you know, in the context of a lot of merger activity within the space. You know, you had Core Scientific, they signed a 12-year deal with an AI company. And that's just after they rejected a $1 billion buyout. And so, you know, Core Scientific rejecting this buyout, you know, JP Morgan came out afterwards and said that, you know, this really just makes the industry a lot more interesting for potential buyers and for potential merger activity, because the market is realizing that, you know, these companies are more valuable just beyond Bitcoin mining. Because if you go to another chart that I sent you guys, which is the hash price, Bitcoin miners have just got their Bitcoin denominated revenue slashed in half. And so we can see this with the hash price. So the hash price tracks the dollar amount of revenue that miners are generating per terahash that they contribute to the Bitcoin network. So as you can see, it's literally just got slashed in half. And so now you're seeing a lot of these crypto mining stocks pivot to AI, or at least diversify their income beyond just Bitcoin mining. You know, you had like Bit Digital, Hut 8 Mining. They also diversified their mining rigs into AI. And so the market's realizing that, oh shit, you know, these companies have valuable use cases just outside of Bitcoin mining. And so you're seeing that bid in the price action over the last few days.
Louis, I love this so much. Go back to the Bitcoin miners chart. I want you to do something. This is very important. Because you mentioned all the price action. It's great. Go back to the Bitcoin miners chart. Okay. Right here where you have this circle, you're going to mark it up and you're going to put Carousel Capital short report. Because sentiment is so shit right now. These guys are doing the rounds on the major networks, talking about how bad these companies are, and they're all frauds, using very, very, you know, dramatized statements and wording. and hyperbolic
Mhm.
statements like they're snake oil salesmen that are destroying the environment and the world and all this stuff, right? And guess
I
what?
just tell you, I love that they included the destroying the environment. That
Yeah,
was
they threw that in because this is.
nice touch. Nice touch.
Can we
I'll
talk?
fade that. I'll fade the environmental people all day.
Let's talk real quick about how these short shops work, right? And this is like no fault to them. A lot of times they do great work. They're like investigative reporters. Throw up the riot chart. What they do is they find a vulnerable security vault, and oftentimes it has this nasty chart, just like the riot chart. And they think, okay, we're going to drop a short report. We're going to blow this thing out. It's going to be the catalyst to break this chart down. They're already short. Just read their disclaimer, right? They got to get paid. And then they want to sell into their or cover into that weakness that comes. Now, sometimes it doesn't work. And what publishing the short report actually
But
does.
isn't that manipulation? If they're short, they are disclosing that they're short. But if they put out the report and knock it down and then cover,
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. It's in their.
no, I know
disclaimer.
that's legal. That's legal.
Yeah. Yes. They're filing reports with the SEC. The registered whistleblowers. Yeah, they're allowed to trade it. Absolutely.
So they're allowed to short, put out all sorts of bad news, and then cover their shorts when that bad news hits.
Yes. Yeah, it's exactly what they're allowed to do.
That's some shady
Why-
shit, bro.
Why do you think people give these guys a hard time?
Then what's the difference between that and a pump and dump where like, oh, I buy some penny stock and then I tell everybody how great it is and then I sell it when everybody buys it?
I think
Isn't that illegal?
I think it's in the disclaimer. Go read their disclaimer. Seriously.
So if
Are
I
you
put a disclaimer that I love this penny stock and I pump it and then I dump it, but because I have my disclaimer, I don't go to prison? That doesn't make any sense.
Just can I finish my spiel?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just confused. I'm asking questions. I got questions.
Dude, if you think the guys who are writing these short reports are not short into those reports and probably using that weakness to cover, what do you think is going on? What kind of business?
I'm asking questions. I'm not a scam artist, so I'm not familiar with how these scams work and what's a scam and what's not a scam. I mean, I trade liquid securities. You know, I don't.
This is the chat's great. So listen, what happens sometimes though is the plan backfires. They drop the short report. They're hoping other shorts pile in, right? Drive the price lower. Sometimes they just alert the market that the short interest is probably now a lot higher than the recently reported 19% in the case of Riot. They sniff that out. They understand the mechanics of a short squeeze. And it's almost like the short sellers just put a target on their back and they try to reverse it. A little bit of momentum comes into the name. The shorts who just piled in and got short on the report are getting squeezed already, right? And that fuels more. And then shorts get their faces ripped off. So
And then at the same time, you had Bernstein coming out and just saying that Riot is the best one who is positioned in the entire industry to consolidate with these mergers. And so it's really interesting that you've got that that dynamic between the short report and a big financial company, big financial institution saying that Riot's the best one to capitalize on that. Riot just increasing their bit farms exposure to 12% as well. And so it's really interesting that you've got that dynamic there.
there was nothing untrue in the short report. It was all, they're talking about the increase in the share count and the employee comp, and they're talking about the halving dynamics and the impact that that's going to have on profitability. But it's all, I'm not super in tune with all of this stuff, right? But it's all stuff that's known to the market. Just reading through the report, it's 8
I was going
pages.
to say they didn't bring on anything new. They just reiterated a lot of the things that the market knew anyway. Is that maybe why the market hasn't gotten sold off?
These are shit companies, right? But it doesn't mean that they're not levered to the price of Bitcoin and that their share prices shouldn't rise, probably at a pretty good rate too. With beta above the price of Bitcoin or the rate of change in Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's going to break out here, right?
That they've got a fair point that these companies are not long-term holds. They shouldn't be. They are trading vehicles.
That's right.
If you want exposure to the crypto markets and Bitcoin more specifically, crypto mining stocks are perhaps the worst way to get that long-term exposure. But over the short term, if you're in a bull market, they offer outsized returns. We know this every single bull market where we've got data. They offer outsized returns. And so they're fantastic trading vehicles.
Think of them like a levered ETF.
Exactly.
Like BitX. You don't want to.
My understanding about their short trade though is that they've got the pair trade of long where they have long BTC as the hedge against that, and so they did a similar thing with MicroStrategy back in March.
Yeah. Good point. These are the same guys that wrote a short report on MicroStrategy. They hate crypto. Seems to be some sort of bias there. But
What's the short seller on? What's the short seller? Oh, this is on GameStop. Never mind. This guy's down 100%.
Well,
starts with a C.
Citron.
Citron, that guy.
Yeah, so that's Andrew left.
That's got to be a bummer, down 100%.
Well,
I like it when people say, "Oh, he's down 150%."
See, they also
Like
how's that possible?
That mental thing is like weird for me. Like, how are you down 150%?
Can't be. I don't understand. Is it?
Well, if you're short at 10 and the stock's at 25, then are you down 150%? Too much math on a Friday morning, huh? See?
So I'm just thinking about Citron. They also just kind of love the spotlight. So anything that's kind of like being talked about, they seem to always kind of be involved in. They're coming out after the GameStop stuff now, which I don't think is a good game for anybody to play. I mean, we all learned a really tough lesson in 2020, which is that shit doesn't make sense. And sometimes it doesn't make sense for a while. And people could get really hurt. Just ask some of the hedge fund managers that were on the other side of that GameStop trade. Why would anybody want anything to do with this at, like this time?
Holy shit! I'm sorry. I just looking at the Roaring Kitty live stream, and 30,000 people are waiting.
Yeah, dude, it's
Do
ridiculous.
people not have something better to do?
It's not that people have something better to do. Is that I think that a lot of people are underestimating the power of the memification of financial markets that we've been watching over the last half decade or so. I mean, I think people underestimate it. I think the three of us still underestimate it. Especially, you're just showing your reaction there, right? Be like, there's 30,000 people waiting. Don't they have anything better to do? No, they don't have anything better to do, Louis. That's the point.
Touche.
Hold on. Speaking of nothing better to do, can you throw up slide 2, please, Spencer Israel? I want Louis' thoughts on this. Nothing, Louis.
What do you want me to say? You know, these things have been consolidating for the last 3 months below these very logical levels. And if we get that breakout, if you get Bitcoin above 73K, you're long all day. You know, if Bitcoin is above 73K and you're not long, there's almost like a psychological short interest that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
How are you long the best performing asset? And how you're not long the best performing asset in the world? Like, what are you doing? By definition, you are short.
Yes.
You're being irresponsible if you're not long. If
Tell him,
Bitcoin is above
Louis.
73K.
Fine, all that I agree with you. But when moon?
When moon? I mean, the dollar's up a little bit today. If that can give some back, then you know, we might be able to get a Bitcoin breakout here. But I think it's coming. I think it's coming very soon. I'm gonna stick my neck out and say in the next few weeks. And so if you get that Bitcoin breakout, it's all go.
This needs to happen like now. This is kind of taking a while. We got to get going.
Go to the next one. How much does something like this matter? Does it meme anything to you?
Nope.
I mean, other than just as a trading vehicle, I mean, we've been long, we've been writing about these things, but I mean, what do you want me to say? What I do want to move on to is Hut. I shared the chart in the chat.
Throw up that Hut.
You see Dawson, Louis spitting bars. I appreciate you, Dawson. I hear you over there. Look at this. This is a setup right here. Hive back up. Yeah, Hive back above 280. If we're above 280, this thing can go all the way to 750. No trouble.
This is a minor.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, Hive. What about Hut?
Put up the what about Wolf, dude? Wolf. The Wolf.
Yeah, we've been talking about that one to our crypto members, and that one's just been on fire recently. In fact, I think it's probably been the single best performing Bitcoin mining stock in recent days.
It might be Iris Energy. Oh, in the past few days, it's definitely been Wolf. If you zoom out a couple weeks, it's been this Iris Energy. But they're all really fun to trade. Also, like these things move. They go. I like this one. It's really clean here against those lows.
Yeah, super clean.
What's the short interest? Throw up the short interest table, Fonz. Yeah. Oh, Louis, no. See, I want more juice than that, though. That one's not for me. See, I like the riots and the maras. I'm in the clean spark.
I know, but Strazza, isn't high short interest in Mara and Clean Spark and Riot? Isn't there doesn't that like equal implied short interest in the other ones that don't have that short interest? Like if the top 3 or 4 are squeezing, what's Wolf gonna go down?
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
If you look at Wolf's chart just the past few days, you would think it has a 20% short interest. These numbers are 2-3 weeks stale at this point. It's terrible, right? So who knows how large these short interests are now? I would think they're higher, especially all these short reports that have come out. We'll get new numbers, I think, early next week.
That annoys me so much. This is such valuable data, but you have to wait like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks to get this data?
So that's
what
what
is
I'm
up with
saying.
that?
When
The
they drop,
blockchain fixes this, Louis.
That's what I'm saying.
When they come out with these short reports, it kind of alerts people to, oh, there's a higher short interest here than reported, right? So we can assume, I would say, yeah, JC, that all these numbers are higher right now.
Anybody? Why is TerraWolf? Why does the price data go back forever? Would this company pivot?
They were probably somebody else before. Most of these companies were.
I mean, Bright was the same. They pivoted back in the day as well, which is hilarious. That's one of my favorite.
We're gonna mine cryptocurrencies now.
That's one of my favorite pivots of all time. When Riot Blockchain changed the name to Riot Platforms,
yes,
that happened on the exact day that Riot put in its low.
Yeah,
how hilarious is that?
They are apparently like the biggest snake oil salesman in the industry, but that probably makes sense. That's why they're the ones trying to do a hostile
according to who? These short sellers?
Listen, a lot of these guys have shady past and stuff like that. Whatever. The people who run these companies.
I guess you just assume that going in, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right? This is still crypto, people. Not
Louis,
everybody.
Talk to me about your favorite cryptocurrency under 5 billion market cap.
Ooh, the Jasmine. It better be the Jasmine.
Better be the Jasmine.
I like OM, ticker symbol OM. So that's Mantra. So again, that's similar to Ondo, or maybe Ondo, Ondo Finance, which is a name that we were, talking about to our crypto members a few weeks ago, and that's really to do with the whole theme of the tokenization of real world assets. I know you guys were talking about this, I think, in yesterday's show, where if you've got these antiquated financial systems, you don't necessarily need to change the financial system per se. You can simply build around it by tokenizing assets.
Yep, I love it.
ARM is tokenizing assets.
Yes, as well as Ondo. I think Ondo is the leader in that space. At least when it comes to market cap as well. I think they're about a 2 billion. Yeah, 2 billion market cap.
Which one's going to be the industry leader? You have to own them both.
Does there need to be an industry leader, or can multiple companies be tokenizing assets?
I want to own the leader.
Is there a leader?
Remember when I went to the crypto conferences a few years ago and I came back, I was most excited about the tokenization stuff.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And it's really just, it's been incredibly quiet over these last, 2-3 years. And now you're really starting to see it emerge, which makes sense, with what's happening in Texas. It's really just a significant theme right now.
He's talking about the new stock exchange. I think it's one of the most practical applications. It almost seems like low-hanging fruit for blockchain to start tokenizing things. So
JC's constantly saying, "Hey, blockchain fixes this."
Yeah.
There you go. That's a real world application.
I started saying that because it was like a joke, because like people say that the blockchain solves for this and all this stuff, but like time and time again, like I see things and I was like the short interest. We got to wait 2 fucking weeks to get that short interest. If this was on the blockchain, we would know in real time.
Well, I think that conversation that we had with Brian Lunt was pretty prescient. Like, it's not about if the technology exists. It's about if the people in power, in these positions of power with the old way things are done, are going to adopt the new technology. And in most cases, that's going to be they're going to have to be forced or disrupted.
Yep. That's why this Texas exchange situation is really interesting, particularly with who's backing it, Citadel and BlackRock, not, Sexy Kitty 69. These are real institutions.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
that'll be exciting to see how that all plays out.
Louis, give me one more.
Excellent.
One more.
Come on, Spencer. It's Crypto Friday. One more, Lou dog.
How about the Floki? The Floki.
I know, but Americans can't buy that shit, unfortunately.
I mean, you surely can buy it on chain.
The Floki, huh?
Yeah, buy it on chain, JC. Come on.
I know, but some of these exchanges, I can't access them. It's a bummer.
Which, by the way, I just want to say, is from the time that we've been talking, another 3,000 people have watched this, have joined this Roaring Kitty wait list.
The memification
wait, what's the number
of financial markets.
What's that?
The memification of financial markets.
The number
what's
is
the number at now?
30,254. Over 30,000.
Dude, I was there when it was like 8,000. I was there when it was 8.
And it's 8 o'clock, and the stream doesn't begin till. Yeah, this is crazy. Well, it isn't crazy based on our previous conversation, but I'll leave it there.
Louis, love you, brother.
Thanks
Enjoy
a lot,
your
Louis.
Saturday morning or whatever it is.
Guys.
You're on the other side of the world over there.
All right. Yeah, and he's gone.
Friday.
We have a guest here. We got Scott Brown in the house. So let's bring Scott on, and I guess we'll see what he's watching. We haven't done
Bring
really.
him out,
We haven't
bring
talked
him
about
out.
GameStop. We haven't talked about GameStop really at all today. I kind of meant to do that earlier. Then we talk about bonds and rates, and anyway, maybe Scott has thoughts. I hope he does.
Do it.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Scott Brown in the house. What's up, my man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Likewise. Are we talking meme coins or are we talking TradFi?
I think you probably got the wrong guy for both of those, if I'm being honest. I was enjoying the conversation. I think everybody rightfully, looks at Bitcoin, but I'm not your meme coins guy.
And we're happy about that, right? We're happy about that. Just because it's Crypto Fridays doesn't mean it's got to be all crypto all the time. What's on your mind? Stock market making new all-time highs, not just in the United States, but all over the world. Bonds keep crashing. I'm told it's not a crash. I see Lime go down for 4 years. Looks like a crash to me. Any thoughts on any of that stuff?
I definitely got thoughts on, all those things. I mean, we're seeing new 52-week high for the S&P 500 yesterday. Obviously, though, not a lot of underlying stocks are making 52-week highs. I don't think it's fatal, but I do think that we're seeing some breadth divergences, and in some cases, I would argue outright deterioration. That definitely bears watching. The 10-year again, we'll see how today closes, but we're about to, if 10 stick where they are right now, we're about to print a hell of a weekly reversal on the 10-year right at that 4.35%. So again, looks like, keep wanting to extend duration, keep wanting, I think that time's going to come. I think we have seen the tops and yields, but man, once again, it doesn't seem like this week's going to be it again. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on the surface, but I think the last point that you made is the international story is really, really interesting. I brought some charts on Europe just because I thought that might be something that, it isn't as everybody get really bulled up on China, and I do like China. People have been noticing Japan, I think, for a while, but I mean, even Europe, there's just, a lot going on. So even with this kind of, let's call it, I think we're in just an ongoing correction here in the US. Most stocks are just still kind of chopping sideways, but it's hard for me to get super bearish on the market when Europe looks as strong as it does and European financials are hitting 52-week absolute and relative highs.
All right, let's take one of these one at a time. First of all, you're talking about that breadth deterioration. We're seeing new all-time highs on the S&P 500 yesterday, right? And there were 50 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange that made a new high. 50. On the entire exchange, 50 of them made a new high. With the S&P 500 making new all-time highs, with the NASDAQ 100 making new all-time highs, with the bull market in place, just very few stocks participating. So when you look at these, and we'll stick with this breadth for a second, when you look at these breadth measures, are you thinking that we need to see an expansion of stocks making new highs? Is it a situation where the price of these indexes need to correct? Is it a time thing? You can argue that we've seen some corrective action already over the last few months in a lot of these areas. Like, how do you think about a resolution here?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, the indexes are still in uptrends. The indexes haven't broken, and so we need to respect that trend. That's always got to be the base case. And the way I think about these divergences, any divergences, but especially breadth divergences, is just because you have a divergence does not mean that you're dealing with a major top. But I do think you have to be open to it more so than at the end of March and starting into April when we started to first correct, because breadth divergences almost always happen before the S&P 500 top. And I say that because, I was making this point kind of mid-April, very, very confident that we were not dealing with a major top then, because on March 28th, when we made a new high in the S&P 500, made 52-week high, we also had 82% of stocks up above their 200-day moving average. That was a 52-week high as well. We've had, if you count 2018, we've had 6 drawdowns going back to 2000 of at least 20% of the S&P 500. Only 2011 saw the S&P 500 top and the top in breadth at the same time. So you always see the breadth divergences. The issue, or at least the bullish argument you can't make anymore, is that now we do have that kind of situation where we're at a new high and we have 67% of stocks up above their 200-day as opposed to 82. So we do have that divergence. So I think it at least opens the door to a bigger, longer top, even if it's still not my base case.
And then how are, we were having a discussion, argument this morning about whether the market wants lower rates, whether the market wants higher rates. And I'm just looking back at, doing some back of the napkin math. And sometimes I see stock market ripping and rates also ripping. Sometimes I see stock market selling off and rates are ripping. And sometimes stock, right? It's hard to find consistency. You can argue a lot of these intermarket relationships, particularly with the bond market, have changed over the last couple of years. Perhaps we're in a more inflationary regime than a deflationary regime, which is an argument that I've heard a lot of smart people say, an argument I've made myself, right? I don't actually know, right? We're kind of trying to put the pieces together. So how do you think about, how the market is perceiving, changes in rates? Market's a discounting mechanism for the future, but how far into the future, right? So how do you think about that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, so like you, I love doing the intermarket analysis. I love, trying to piece it together and come up with a grand thesis. But if the last 2.5, 3 years have taught us anything, it's that it's really important to kind of take each asset class on its own, because it was so simple in 2022, interest rates up, stocks down. And then that's, it's kind of gotten flipped on its head. When you see these really big moves up in tens, that's not good for the stock market. Conversely, we have had a couple of periods, the regional bank crisis, where you get that traditional flight to safety and yields go down and stocks go down. The biggest takeaway is that the stock market is resilient. I think that's one thing is you've seen these periods where 10s spike and stocks go down. But when 10s either decline or they go sideways for an extended period, stocks have rallied more than they've gone down when rates. So, the stock market and the companies seem to be able to adjust to these rates. So I think that's generally bullish and supportive for equities. I think, what's the best thing, what makes stocks go up the most by the year end is probably 10s at 4.4% on December 31st. Basically not a lot of volatility. And that's not, I don't want to see them collapsing. That's probably not good. But
no, but that's a good point that
huge
you're making. I agree wholeheartedly with that because the market keeps proving that again and again. And I guess that's the conclusion here. It's not so much up or down. It's just not moving dramatically in either direction that the stock market likes the most, right?
Exactly. I mean, clearly we've been inverted yield curve for 2+ years. Like clearly we've proven the stock market can survive this environment and do really quite well in this environment. So as long as, things stay pretty steady, which they really are. I mean, crazy volatility. Oh, we're breaking down, we're breaking up in yields. But if you kind of just take a step back, not doing too much, nowhere near 5%, not, breaking down below 4 or anything like that, I think stocks can do generally pretty well.
How are we thinking about commodities here? Gold, silver. Silver had a hell of a day yesterday, giving it all back today.
I mean, structurally, those metals and mining stocks still look pretty strong. They've had a couple of bad days and probably set for another really bad one today, but that is a volatile group. That's kind of part of investing in those. And when you've had 52-week highs recently, I think they do deserve the benefit of the doubt, but everybody's got their asset class that you just got to recognize you don't call well. And if you hear me talking about silver miners or copper miners, like positively, just get out. Like every time I've gotten really excited, like, all right, this COPEX thing looks like it wants to go, boom, we're going to be down like 20% in a week. I would say the COT data makes me a little bit nervous with copper, as good of a trend as it is. You have commercial hedgers, record short, speculators, record long. That
Yeah, but
seems
Scott,
like a recipe for
the last bull market for these commodities, you were like in 5th grade or something, right?
well, I don't even, maybe not even that, but I mean, I'm just saying, it's a good chart if it's up above those highs, and if it's not like silver up above 30, good.
Scott's like
Below
Strazza.
30, I don't want to touch it.
Scott's a lot like Strazza, like, these
and me. How could
and you for that matter?
Can
when I
you
got into
blame
this
us?
business,
Can you
I
blame
got
us?
into this, these metals were ripping, commodities were ripping, so I have that like in the back of my mind. So as frustrating as that environment may have been over the last decade, I do remember good times, great times actually.
I mean, I will tell you, I mean, just for fun, I was at this like crawfish boil a couple weekends ago, and I had some guy.
Hold on, you were out of what?
A crawfish boil.
Crawfish boil.
Yeah. Neighborhood crawfish boil, but I had some guy who does like copper buying for something, and he was, I mean, I'm not a fundamentals guy, I'm all technicals, but man, after talking to this guy, he had me wanting to just go like, take 5% and just peel it into, his whole thing was all the data and the energy for the utilities in general. I mean, he had a good story. He was like, copper is going, $9-10 a pound, maybe even more than that. So there's a compelling story, but I think you really got to manage risk and kind of be above those highs for me to like it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But when you look back at gold and you look at copper and the relationship there, they don't tend to stray too far for too long. So if gold's making new all-time highs and breaking out higher, I don't want to bet against copper. I'm with you on let's see it, but I don't want to bet against it, right? Would you agree with that?
That's fair. Gold probably not set for a great day either. But again, these are uptrends. No matter your time horizon, these are generally uptrends. So I think that's important.
Now let me ask you this. Let's take a step back for a second. So you were at LPL for a while. How long were you at LPL? Like 6 years, something like that?
Yeah, I led the technical strategy for about 4 years. Was there about 7 years all in.
And so at LPL, you were working specifically with and for the financial advisors. Do I have that right?
Yep. Financial advisors have kind of been my whole career. Actually started first 3 years in the business was as a financial advisor, and then made the move over to LPL.
Nice. And are you still in Charlotte?
I am still in Charlotte. Yep.
Well, they got crawfish boils all the way up in Charlotte.
They do if you're neighbors from Louisiana. I'm originally from Alabama, and crawfish boils are very much a thing there. I can't say I've seen too many other crawfish boils in North Carolina.
But your neighbors from Louisiana, so that makes a lot of sense. Man, I love crawfish. Was it good? Do you eat a lot?
Yeah, it's good. He knew he had like I forget the name, Louisiana Crawfish Company. He had like his purveyor that ships it to him direct and everything. He was doing it right.
Can I get the number for that guy? I'd like to do one of those. That sounds delicious. Okay, so then what are you doing? So talk to me about what you're doing now, and what sparked that?
Yeah, I mean, I loved. I've always loved doing research. I mean, that's why I was a financial advisor. It was a great start to my career because it was for an RIA that was extremely active. So it was just feet in the water, stocks, bonds, ETFs. They did it all. Anything was fair game for portfolios. But the other side of being a financial advisor is, doing a lot of selling, getting clients and things like that. And for me, it's just always been about the markets and research. And LPL allowed me to do that. But as you move your way up in the corporate world, sometimes you get dragged into some other things. And I just really wanted to get back to just doing the markets. And so I said, let me see, some things kind of came together. I said, let me see if the people that really care about the research, let me see if I can offer that direct. I think they'll pay up for good, honest stuff, exactly my vision, the way I want to give it to them. And so it's been about 2 years since I left LPL. September will be the 2-year anniversary of Brown Technical Insights. But it's on Substack. I put out 3 reports every single week. A kind of flagship Monday morning playbook is what it's called on Mondays. First thing you can read every single day that covers kind of the macro, an overtime report that includes ETF trade models. And then I do cover individual equities, which is something we didn't do at LPL, but I was always doing on my own, and you knew there was demand for that as well, and so wanted to be able to cover individual equities as well.
When are you coming up to New York? Sorry, Spencer.
I need to, man. I'm really disappointed. I did not get to it. Life was just crazy. We had, like a 4 or 5 month old last year when the symposium was there, and I just couldn't make it up. And I was like, well, I am not missing it. I'm going to hope the symposium happens this year. And I don't know if you have any insight. It seems like there's just not a symposium this year.
It was in Dubai.
Well, so I was wondering if that was officially the thing. I saw that they didn't call it the symposium. Well, I'm not going to Dubai, man. But
I mean, not with a baby in the house, right?
I'm not going to Dubai anytime.
Dubai's not like Alabama. It's actually really different.
I have a feeling it probably is. But
next year's in San Francisco is the rumblings, by the way.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that. I'll try and make it up to New York sometime.
Come up and hang out, man. We'll get some sushi.
Where do you live? I feel like you're always somewhere different. Do you live in New York?
I'm about an hour and change west of the city.
Okay. I think I've seen
moved back to the East Coast because I was out in California for 5 years.
All right. Well,
got married, started having kids. Now I got an army of kids. Living out in wine country is just not practical.
No, it's not. Kids running around the grapevines and things like that.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I'll let you know. I know you probably got the food recommendations. That's probably, if I travel somewhere, especially New York, that's all I'm really interested in doing. Is
not a lot of crawfish boils in Midtown Manhattan. I'll tell you that much.
That's all right, man. You got to stick with what you're doing. I don't want to come to New York and have barbecue either. Give me that New York Scott.
The barbecue's terrible. Spencer, what were you gonna ask? I'm sorry, I steal all the questions.
I was just saying that we got our opening bell. That was all I was going to say. But
all right,
we're
Spencer,
open. We're off and running.
With the, solid information. Nice.
All right. Whatever. Scott Brown, man, guys, the link to Scott's Substack is in the description on YouTube. Check it out, as is his Twitter. And Scott, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah,
Listen,
thanks,
drinks
man.
on me
I
when you're
really
in the
enjoyed it.
city. Please reach out.
I'll do it, man.
I'm a man. Adios.
All right.
See y'all.
Great question from Dawson. How many over under? What's the over under on GME halts today? Going to be at least 3, right? Over under maybe 4.
What's the percentage decline that it takes for a halt?
Well, there's bands, right? There's multiple bands. What is it? It's like 10% is the first band, I think. And then progressively higher from there, but I don't. God, I used to know this, but I don't. That's for a standard volatility halt. It was open for I mean, it's halted right now. Pre-market or after hours high. You know, I have a GameStop chart. It doesn't show.
I love that. I'm just like looking at headlines, and the headlines are jobs report, comma, meme stocks move ahead of roaring kitty live stream.
Yep.
Economists expect non-farm payrolls. Like, this is just hilarious. Like, hilarious.
it's total opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Maybe my over under of 4 was a little bit on the conservative side for sure. In any case, obviously this chart does not show what has happened overnight, nor what has happened so far this morning. But the after hours high was $67.50. We are at $39 right now. So a lot has happened here in the overnight session. A lot will happen today. It'll probably be halted several times before, during, and after. Although we don't actually know. We don't actually know what Rowan Kitty is going to talk about. Everyone has assumed GameStop, but like we don't really know that. I just want to say GameStop, and I don't know if this is a coincidence or not. Maybe it's not. I don't want to read too far into it, but they did report earnings overnight, and of course they were terrible. And their earnings are kind of irrelevant. But what's not irrelevant is they're doing another at the market offering. They are selling more. So they sold some stock a couple weeks back, right? I think they sold around 45 million shares last time, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They filed to do another 75 million share offering today. So they're doing what you do when you're a meme stock, is you sell peanuts when the circus is in town. So they're selling, sold to you.
Did you make that up, Spencer? You're not creative enough to come up with that.
That's a saying, man.
It's a saying. Okay, I was gonna say that's good. I like that.
That's a saying. Jack's talking about the 0 DTEs. I have not pulled up my options platform to look at those, but I'm sure they are wild here today. Anyway,
why don't we bring on our chief YOLO officer?
Yeah. Is he back? Yeah, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was YOLOing as we speak or not.
Chief YOLO. What is the what is the YOLO for this lovely Friday?
I'm hoping to close stuff today. The YOLOs have been happening all week. What did I do this week? It's been heavy crypto, brother.
Dude, these small caps getting the crap kicked out of them. Transport's getting the crap kicked out of them again. I mean, the divergence between industrials and trannies, no bueno for Dow theory enthusiasts out there. We're on pace for the lowest close for the Dow transport since Thanksgiving on a weekly basis.
See, what's great about what we do is we don't have to own those stocks, right? Like no one's making us own transports. So that's awesome. Small caps too. You know, if you want them, you could have them. I don't have to own them. Nobody's making me own small caps. But I will say, when you look beneath the surface, there have been some great small cap stocks this cycle.
No, there are. Yeah. And that's the beauty of small caps, is that just because the small cap indexes are selling off doesn't mean that there are not individual stocks within that that are doing well. I have a fun fact for you, Mr. Strazza, that I'm not sure you know, because I definitely did not know.
Fun fact Friday.
Fun fact Friday. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Uber is in the XLI?
Yes, I did.
You knew that? I didn't know that.
It's a transport.
It's a software stock, according to Gix. No?
Wait, I have a stupid question.
It's classed as a transport.
There are no rules saying that a stock can't be in more than one of these sector indexes, right? Or are there?
I think they try to avoid that. No, the whole idea is to try and avoid that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Uber is
That's
not.
why, I mean, I was very surprised. I mean, does it just get back to the XLI? It's just a catch-all when they don't know what to do with the stock, they just throw it in the XLI.
Yes.
You know, I think just a lot of this ends up happening like that. But yeah, so Uber's not in the XLK. Great point. Yeah, interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Listen,
I didn't know that. I just learned that like 2 days ago.
let's talk about Uber. Why don't you run the hot corner bumper? Dara's uncle was active today.
Dara's uncle?
The Kashra Shahi just loves showing up on our hot corner list. Let's talk about it.
All right.
So hot right now.
So this is the CEO of Uber's uncle?
Yeah, he's like a billionaire.
Really?
Yeah, this family's got money. I think his cousin like sold a company to Intel too. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
What are they drinking? What's in the water in that family?
Yeah, they I think they're like all like Iranian immigrants, but the uncle got rich selling a Canadian electronics company to Best Buy. It's a whole thing. You could, the Google will get you done on this one. But it's a name, it's a last name that you notice when you see it, kind of thing. And I'm obsessed with the Uber CEO, Dara. We'll talk about them next. But this Reservoir Media does stand out. It's got a nice little base. It's a $3 million buy. Like I said, this guy's a billionaire, so maybe there will be follow-up purchases. We never really know. But that one stood out for sure. And then, JC, you're going to love this one. Flex Limited, I believe this is the old Flextronics. They make custom widgets in factories. Wellington Management. Now, we just happen to know there are some great technicians that have worked at Wellington and work at Wellington now. It just feels so good for me to sit back and know that they probably had so much to do with increasing the stake from 6% to 10% on the 25-year base breakout.
We have a chart of that base. That's a serious base, dude.
Like, put this thing up.
Wait.
There it is. Throw it up.
It looks just like that, actually. It looks just like Fred's. This is so good. This is so good. You know the technicians had their hands in this one, right, JC?
You'd think so, right? You'd think so.
Well,
but isn't Wellington one of these situations where they have like a bunch of different funds? So who knows, right?
Yes. But I can't help but think, chart like this, chart guys might have had something to do with it. So anyway, above 33, this one looks great. And this is a meaningful increase in their stake, just almost doubled their position in this one. So, it goes back to, what do they say? You don't water the weeds and pick the flowers, right? They're just watering their flowers here. Buying strength, adding on the breakout. Love to see it.
Can we classify this as a breakout?
Are
we there yet?
Not yet.
No, it's coiling right there, but come on, it's just about happening. It has made a new all-time high. But yes, you're right. You want to see something decisive here, for sure. For sure.
Kind of reminds me of, a lot of these things getting back to their former highs for the first time. I don't think it's going to be quite that simple. Sick base, though.
JC's fading this one. JC's calling for failed breaky on this one.
No, JC's not calling for anything. This is one of those things where I'm not going to bet against it, but I'm not quite convinced that I'm going to bet on it yet.
So,
back to like Brian Shannon's, like, what is the move that got it here? That was an aggressive move that got it here.
Brian Shannon always asks the question, where did we come from?
Where did we come from? Where did we come from? Where did we go? Where did you come from? Come on, Joe.
Wait, Steve, did you want to talk about Uber as well?
Uber.
Yeah.
So we've been talking. We've been looking back through our list. We've been looking at the greatest hits. Boy, what an album this greatest hits album is. Coming off those 2022 bear market lows, we had some great insider purchases that just really stood out. Me and Fonz were going through the list yesterday. He's like, I already know what they are. I already know what they are because we remember them. So here's a big one that I just want to talk about today, because we come on here every morning, guys, and we talk about the insider filings from yesterday, right? We talk about the insider purchases. We don't talk about how we're using that information to make money in the market, right? But this is exactly how it works. If we used a current example, it wouldn't be fair to subscribers. So let's go back to the 2022 bear market lows. CEO of Uber, Dara K, comes out, buys $5.3 million of shares. After an earnings miss, stock's plunging to fresh 52-week lows. He's in there buying. Average cost $26.72. The stock later bottomed out just north of $20, I think, about less than a month later, right? Stock makes its ultimate bear market low. We're not buying it there. As good technicians, we're not trying to catch a falling knife. We do see that the CEO stepped in and made a very sizable purchase that stands out. We remember that. It's on our radar. We're really waiting for the trend to reverse. And I'm showing this in the simplest form, but we have a number of tools at our disposal to measure a primary trend reversal. We could use things like a weekly MACD crossover. We could use a golden cross, right? But I'm keeping it so stupid simple here just to illustrate this point. We're simply looking at when the 200-day moving average stopped falling and began rising, right? So the 200-day here is color-coded by its slope. If the slope is down, it's red. If the slope is up, it's green. If you notice, we had a pretty clear level when that 200-day moving average scoops and turns higher. We had a pretty clear level at the pivot highs to kind of define our risk against. That's where we got in. So it was 9 months after the insider buy from the CEO, right? And that's why we keep these names on our list so long. At the point we bought it, the primary trend had reversed. We're in maybe $7 higher than the CEO himself, but look at what we're in for, right? We're in once the trend has reversed, not for that sloppy mess that happened between his purchase in May of 2022 and when we the stock first in February of 2023. We miss all of that opportunity cost, right? And then we just get in when the higher.
If you're looking at this and you're wondering, well, what does the CEO buying have to do with this? That's what puts it on our radar in the first place, right? Like maybe we would have seen it otherwise, maybe not. I mean, probably, right? But
yeah, and we're gonna separate the really big, like I said, greatest hits, right? Like the really extra special purchases. This one stands out. CEO coming in, right, trying to stop the bleeding. $5 million is a lot for a Form 4. That's a big number, right? That famous Jamie Dimon filing at the Diamond bottom was one of the larger Form 4s I've ever seen. That was 20 million, right? So 5 million is not bad. He's stepping in, buying weakness. That puts it on our radar and says, you know, maybe this thing is done falling pretty soon. Then you see that base start to form and we sit back and we're patient, right? Because we know bottoms can take time. And then once we're confident, we have conviction that the primary trend has reversed and is higher, we say, okay, let's ride this thing with the CEO. Let's get in and ride this uptrend higher. So that's kind of how the process works. Just doing a post-mortem on an example like this, I think it gives a pretty good illustration of what we're doing with all this information and why we leave these on our list for so long sometimes. But we're gonna show a bunch more examples like this soon. We're gonna make a deck full of them because there were so many in 2022, and we're gonna try to do this going forward a lot more consistently. So I'm excited about that.
All right, we got another few minutes before we hop for the day, but I did want to just run down quickly. Dow futures are pretty much all the way back to flat. NASDAQ futures are down, 15 basis points. Dow almost flat. S&P 500 down 20 basis points. So not a lot going on there in the equities market. But the bond market continues to sell off. Things are actually getting worse in the bond market, down 1.7% for 30-year bonds. And you're seeing that pressure in silver, giving back all of yesterday's gains, now down over 5% for silver, 2.3% to the downside in gold. Copper down almost 4%. That's a big move. GameStop now in the black for the day. Actually slightly down now.
It just
down
got
5%,
halted for the third time.
Did turn green. Now halted for the third time. Wow.
This is ridiculous. I mean, Spencer, I'm proud of you.
3 halts and we're 16 into the session. Poll at
What?
Sorry, my
Poll
thing
in the
froze
chat.
out there.
What poll in the chat?
Wait, I just put a
Can you
poll in
hear
the
me?
chat, but my system froze up there. So, poll in the chat. I'm asking over under 15 trading halts today. Majority
15.
seems to think under. 15 was aggressive. I'll give you that. We're
15.
already at 3.
How many
It's been
does it usually have?
usually 0. Right?
No, but when
So-
it's doing its halt dance.
I don't know, 7 or 8 maybe. I want to say,
15,
Steve, I
Spencer.
am
That's
out
a
of
terrible
GameStop.
over-under.
I am out of GameStop. I was in it yesterday for about 2 hours. I was in it from like 35 to 39, and I had my fun. And
Was it fun?
I don't.
Do you agree
Yeah.
with what I'm saying though? Like this is crazy. This is
What
crazy
is?
town. Just like it's a headache. Like why be involved? The more he announces or tweets or does live streams, I don't want to be holding a position through
The
that.
best time to own it was when we first got in, when it came out on the Under the Hood report. Remember?
Well, no kidding. That was 2020 though.
Right. That was the best. That was the best time ever. You know,
But,
a lot of these things have just been messes. They're just
in hindsight, honestly, we probably could have been in it a lot longer. It was a great trade. I think we made like 150%.
we
like
took profits early. We did.
we were out at like $15. But
And thrilled about it, by the way, if you
Yeah.
recall.
Listen, I don't know who's backing this guy, but he doesn't have that much money. There's something's up here, and maybe we find out today. That's kind of what I'm interested in. And,
What?
and
Like the live stream is like him and Uncle Carl like drinking coffee in a coffee shop or something.
the $100 million had to come from somewhere. Did. This is a question people should be asking. I don't know where the money came from. Now people are talking about he's going to be a billionaire. I mean, that's awesome, dude. But regulators are going to be all over this guy. They are right now. I'm sure his phones are tapped. This is crazy.
Yeah. No, listen, it's fascinating for sure, to say the least. Just checking in on the crypto assets because it is Crypto Friday. Bitcoin flat on the day, Ethereum flat, Solana, Binance, nothing happening at all in the mega cap cryptos. But in the meme tokens, I mean, this MEW, MEW up 42%, Brett up 24%. Look at Popcat up 11% this morning. The MOG up 4%, consolidating nicely. That MOG, you see that MOG?
Somebody mentioned Nike in the chat too. I love this price action Nike did. I'm in. I told you, I'm in.
Yeah. Your bet is that Nike's not going to complete a massive top in a bull market.
My bet is like this is Nike, dude. What's going on here?
Yeah, the not a massive top theory plays here.
I'll take Nike down 50%. Give it to me. 1.5% yield. Let's go.
Oh yeah, you're in Nike for the yield.
No.
Chief YOLO officer in Nike for the yield. Spencer, you hear this guy? Who are you fooling, bro?
I buy stocks for the long run too. I'm not an ass. I know what I'm doing out here. I'm shopping the deals. I'm shopping
the deals in Nike. Okay. I thought you were telling me yesterday nobody wears Jordans anymore.
Nobody wears Jordans anymore. But hey, stuff's trendy. Maybe that changes. I don't know.
All right.
They figure something else out.
Spencer, hit that bumper.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We lose Spencer? You're not excited about the hot corner like me? You didn't like
Rolling Stones tour. I got invited to see the Stones when we were in California. I had club seats for the Stones when we were in California. Obviously, I couldn't go because we were in California.
Where were they playing?
In the Meadowlands.
Oh, no shit.
A bunch of my friends went. And then they're playing in Philly on Tuesday. Also can't go. Got tickets to that too.
That would be a great concert to see. If I were you, I would try to make it happen.
Dude, I haven't seen the Stones. I haven't seen the Stones in like 11 years.
But you've seen them before.
Oh, I've seen them once.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jagger's just like, he goes up and down the thing, and he's just shaking his little ass the whole time. He doesn't stop. He's just his little ass is just going back and forth. You know, he's like a skinny little guy. You know what I mean? Good for him. He's like 100, dude. He's dancing the whole time. It's very impressive.
All right. Hey, you see the bidders?
What bidders?
The bidders.
What are you talking about?
Bitcoin and friends.
You call them the bidders?
Yeah, the bidders.
Time,
JC? We're gonna
What?
break this thing out. We gonna break this thing out here before the weekend. I mean, what are we doing? We're just hanging out here for 3 days now. I don't know.
It's $1 trillion asset. It's not. This isn't Brett or Mew, right? You know.
Getting bored over here.
Good. If they don't, what is it? If they don't scare you out, they're wear you out. There's another Brian Shannon quote. So many Brian Shannon quotes.
I want this breakout to happen on Crypto Friday so bad, guys. Oh, somebody in the chat asked about my Rowback hoodie. It's like the perfect stretch. It's the most comfortable thing I own. I would wear it all day, every day, but I only wear it inside the house.
What is Woback?
There's like a new thing, man. People, it's trendy. I don't know.
Look at you, such a fashionista.
I also, yeah, for sure. I also got the quarter zip, which is great. Love that. Love that as well. Got a golf shirt too.
Strength in markets off the open. Nasdaq's flat. Financials are up.
You guys, you see the thing yesterday? Hold on. Did you see the thing yesterday about the SPY had the lowest volume in like 14 years or something?
There weren't any stocks that were making new highs.
All the volume went to GameStop. All right.
People don't like my nobody's wearing Nikes anymore take. You guys disagree with me?
I wear Nikes. My wife wears Nikes. My kids wear Nikes. I don't know if people around me are wearing them.
I'm talking about people, not me and you. Like people. They're wearing the on-ons.
What percentage of Nike's like earnings come from shoes?
A lot.
A lot. A lot.
Yeah. And they're a shoe company.
All right. Want to do recess?
Please.
I wasn't ready before, but I'm ready now. Yeah, I know.
Do it. All right, Spencer, what do you got? Spencer's having internet issues. Poor Spencer. We love you, Spencer. You know what? We love you.
I'm having all kinds. You look
better with a blurry.
All kinds of problems today.
Yeah, come on, Spencer. So I'm going to be in the city on Wednesday. I'm having lunch with the Pearl Dog. Where should I take him, Strazza? Sushi? Too easy.
No, well, see, sushi is good for pearls. It's almost like when you're like eating with like a vegetarian friend or a vegan friend, you have to like think about like what restaurant you're going to go to. We have to do that with pearls. I think you got to do sushi, or you got to go to a steakhouse. He wants the meats. Pearls wants the meats. So either
one time, Jason Raznick, friend of ours, former CEO of Benzinga, founder of Benzinga, and he calls me up. He's like, JC, I'm in town. Let's go get lunch. I'm like, great. He's like, where should we go? I'm like, oh, Sushi Zen. It doesn't exist anymore. We used to be like on 46 right off 6th Avenue. And he's like, oh, that sounds great. I'm like, okay, great. So I meet him at Sushi Zen. Great spot, by the way. It was anyway. And we sit down, and I'm all excited about my sushi. And he's like, I hate sushi. Like,
really?
What the hell are we doing at a sushi restaurant? He's like, oh, I thought they were going to have other things too. I'm like, Raznick, it's a sushi restaurant. Why would they have other things? So here we are at a sushi restaurant. He hates sushi. I specifically said we were going to a sushi restaurant. That's Jason Raznick for you, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up. Why don't we have him on the show, Spencer? Get him on the show. That would be funny.
All right. Yeah, I'll reach out. Wait, can I do recess? I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Please.
Better be good.
So I'm going to a
Better be good.
minor league baseball game tomorrow. I'm very excited. The Somerset Patriots, AA affiliate of the New York Yankees, are doing a promotion where 3 times this year they are rebranding themselves. They're not the Patriots of Somerset. They are the Diners of New Jersey. And I was so excited for this that I bought a shirt ahead of time. How amazing is that?
Dude,
Look
they are
at
the
that.
New Jersey
Look.
Diners.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Look at that.
fantastic. That's so good. That's
Spencer
that's-
loves diners. Loves them.
You should. So do I.
I
You would
love
it.
diners. I bought a shirt. I'm
Did you like buy it online and they mailed it to you?
So that's the second best minor league name ever. Okay, because the Danbury Trashers are still number 1.
What about the Savannah Bananas?
The Danbury Trashers, just number 1 forever.
The Savannah Bananas are coming like in June. I think in July they're coming by me. I want to go check them out.
The Savannah Bananas doesn't even make sense. Do they even have bananas in Georgia?
we looked into it. Tickets are not cheap. G.
Dude, I gotta go see the Savannah Bananas. I like how much they travel. Right?
I don't know.
They're gonna be the Savannah Bananas are in DC on July the 13th. That's doable for me. DC July 13th. I got nothing else. I thought there was a closer one.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
They travel a lot. Oh yeah, they're in Philly, September 21st. Yeah, they're in Philly. I could do that. I didn't realize minor league baseball went on so long.
They're not minor league baseball.
They're not. They're just like for fun. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. That's cool though.
So we've had some questions in the chat. People want to know what I'm swinging out there. So I feel like I should do like a golf bag reveal, right? Like a little YouTube video, just showing all my stuff, kind of showing my setup. But high level, Strixon ZX clubs. I have Cleveland wedges now, but I think I'm going to get the Titleist Fokies. What else is important? Ryder Cup edition bag, because I'm a good Patriot. Also, Ryder Cup edition Puma shoes. JC rocks the G4s.
What?
Yeah. And then my favorite part of my you do you have G4s is my glove, which I got in Vietnam, and
I thought I had X18s Callaways
for the last 11 months, and I can't figure out what the brand is or where to get it. But it's like a wide receiver glove. It's lasted me 11 months. I'm wearing the same golf glove for 11 months now. It's really crazy. It's so good, but it's time to go, and I don't know what it is. Puma, yeah, Puma. Ricky Fowler, baby.
Puma, Ricky Fowler, baby. What wines am I drinking here in Avalon? I've been drinking a lot of Barbaresco, actually. You know, they got good Italian restaurants here. Like a lot of the restaurants are like Italian inspired.
It's summertime. It's summertime. You're at the beach. Don't you want like a white wine? No?
It depends on what I'm eating, but there's great Fred's here in Avalon and in Stone Harbor. Great wine shop. And I've been drinking like, 7-8-year-old Barbarescos. The Barbaresco I had yesterday was beautiful. The color on this thing, that garnet color on the Barbaresco, because the Barbaresco comes from the same area as Barolo, right? In that same Piemonte area in the northwest of Italy, but it's not aged as long. So it's kind of like the way I look at it, whether right or wrong, sorry if you're Italian and you take offense to this, but the way I like to look at it is like a Barolo Junior. Like not as aggressive as a Barolo, like a little lighter.
Yeah, you don't want the heavy stuff while you're enjoying a day at the beach.
Well, it's not that hot.
Stuff.
It's not that hot.
No, okay.
Yeah, and if you're in the shade and it's 6:30, a little sea breeze, you're good. You're all right. This is Key West, bro.
It's hot here. Stuff's moving. I got trades to make. Let's go, baby. Everybody have
guys.
We gotta go. I just want a quick plug. Our latest episode of Off the Charts is live. It is up on YouTube. If you go to our channel, you will find it. It is Off the Charts with Jason Shapiro. It is on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes. I think that's pretty much the only ones that people use anymore. So it's on there right now. Check it out. Steve and Sean talk to Jason Shapiro. And it was a great conversation. And that is up right now. So go watch it.
So Jason is just hilarious. Love this guy.
Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
That is I just want to add unintentionally 3 Jasons in a row on that show.
We didn't even know it was happening.
Not intentional, but that's just the way it worked out. All right. Let's go. We got a lot to do today. So go make some money. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Have a good weekend, guys. Adios.
Later.